Values are an integral part of every culture. With worldview and personality, they generate behavior. Being part of a culture that shares a common core set of values creates expectations and predictability without which a culture would disintegrate and its member would lose their personal identity and sense of worth. Values tell people what is good, beneficial, important, useful, beautiful, desirable, destructive, and etc. They answer the question of why people do what they do. Values help people to have common problems for survival. Over time, they become the roots of traditions that groups of people find important in their day-to-day lives. Filipino values may be attributed into many influences. This can be from its ancestors or influence from its colonizers.
Refers to the set of values majority of the Filipino have historically held important in their lives. This Philippine value system includes their own unique assemblage of consistent ideologies, moral code, ethical practices, etiquette, and values that are promoted by their society.
So these are the different types of positive values or traits of a Filipino. So first we have the bayanihan, or spirit kinship and camaraderie. A Filipino community and cooperation wherein a group of individuals extends a helping hand without expecting any. 2. The Mayan system. Sympathy for people who lost their loved ones in case of death of a certain member of the community. The whole community sympathizes with the bereaved family. Neighbors, friends, and relatives of deceased usually gives a certain amount of money as their way of showing sympathy. 3. Familialism or close family relation. Filipino trait of giving highest importance of the family above other thing, a trait wherein family members should be taken care of and supported regardless of whether he or she did something wrong. A family member must give attention and should not abandon. 4. Fun-loving trait. A trait found in most Filipinos, a trait that makes them unique, that even in time of calamities and other challenges in life, they always have something to be happy about and reason to celebrate. 5. Hospitality. A Filipino trait of being receptive and generous to guests. 6. We have compassionate. A Filipino trait of being sympathetic of others even if the person is a stranger. An example of this is giving alms to beggar. This observed when we hear Filipinos saying kawawa naman or nakakaawa naman. So we have number 7, regionalism. A Philippine trait of giving more priority or preference in giving favors to his province mates before others. We have the number 8, and it is common to us, and it is being friendly. A trait found in most Filipino. They are sincere, loyal, kind, and socially person. 9 is flexible or magaling makabagay or makibagay. The ability of Filipinos to ride on or adjust of the norms of other groups just to attain smooth and harmonious relationship. Number 10, being religious. Most Filipinos possess strong confirmance of their religious beliefs in action and in words. 11, respect to elders. A Filipino trait of being courteous both in words and in action towards older people. Number 12, we have the remedyo attitude, a Filipino trait of being creative and resourceful. The ability to do things that are next to impossible. For example, in fixing appliances that is impossible to fix. Number 13, we have the matyaga. Filipino is renowned for their tenacity and determination in every undertaking. And lastly, we have the utang na loob, a feeling of obligation to repay someone who extended their assistance to another, which may take place in undetermined time in whatever way.
Bahala na attitude, a Filipino trait characterized by retreating or withdrawal from certain undertaking and leaving everything to God to interfere and determine the outcome of his deeds. Colonial complex or blue seal mentality, a Filipino value of showing high admiration and preference to foreign produced goods over local ones. Crab mentality, a Filipino attitude characterized by an attempt to pull down someone who has achieved success beyond the others. This is done out of jealousy and insecurity. Euphemism, a Filipino way of substituting a word or phrase that is thought to be offensive or harsh with a mind of acceptable one in order to not offend or hurt another person. Filipino time, in reality it means always late, a Filipino attitude of impreciseness towards time. Gaya-gaya attitude, a Filipino attitude of imitating or copying other culture, specifically in mood of dressing, language, fashion, or even haircut. Jackpot mentality, a get rich quick mentality of some Filipino who would rather engage in fast ways of acquiring money than through hard work and sacrifice by getting in lottery, joining raffle draws, and other. Kapalaran values, a Filipino trait of accepting his fate by believing that everything is written in his palm. Such traits contributes to lack initiative and perseverance among Filipinos. Mañana habit, delaying or setting aside a certain task assigned on the next day, although it can be done today. Ningas kugon attitude, being enthusiastic only during the start of new undertaking but ends dismally in accomplishing nothing, a common practice observed in some politicians who are visible only during the start of certain endeavor. Oversensitive, Filipinos have the tendency to be irritated easily or hurt upon hearing some criticisms or comment. Lack of sportsmanship, not accepting defeat in competition but rather putting the blame either to their opponents or to these sport officials. Pakikisama, submitting oneself to the will of the group for the sake of camaraderie and unity. Failure to comply with the group demand, the person will be called walang pakikisama or selfish. The adherence to group demands have taught our young engage in bad habits like smoking, alcoholism, and even drug addiction. Chamba lang attitude, simplicity by declaring that his or her accomplishment are result of luck and not from perseverance and ability.
So there are 8 strengths of a Filipino character. First is pakikipagtao. So pakikipagtao is a foundation for unity as well as sense of social unity. Next is family-oriented. So it is a sense of family results in a feeling of belongingness and rootedness of basic sense of security. Third one is joy and humor. The result is a certain emotional balance, optimism, a healthy disrespect for power and office. Fourth one is flexibility, adaptivity, and creativity. So the result is productivity, innovation, entrepreneurship, and equanimity. Next is hard work and industry, the result is productivity and entrepreneurship for some and survival despite poverty. So 6 is faith in religiously. Filipinos have deep faith in God. So the pampalakas ng loob allows us to act despite uncertainty. The 7th one is faith in religiosity. Our faith in daring was manifested at EDSA and other times in our history. So the results of Filipinos' faith are courage, daring, optimism, inner peace. And lastly, ability to survive. So Filipinos have the ability to survive. They make do with what is available in the environment. So basic optimism, flexibility and adaptivity, and work and the deep faith to God.
Kanya-kanya syndrome is also evident in the personal ambition and the drive for power and status that is completely insensitive to the common good. Filipinos are generally passive and lacking in initiative. There is strong reliance on others to do things for us related to our needs for a strong authority. Mentality. Colonial mentality is manifested in the alienation of the elite from the roots, from the masses, as well as in basic feeling of national inferiority that makes it difficult for Filipinos to relate as equals to Westerners. Of self-analysis and self-reflection. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness towards others, particularly one's peers who seem to have gained some status or prestige.